What up, your Timmons here? With the Boston Strangler premiering on Hulu this week, I'm doing my reviews for true story movies about real life serial killers. So here's my review for the second film I'm doing a review for, and I just talked about the Jeremy Renner Dahmer movie, and of course on Netflix we do got the one with Evan Pierce. But back in 2017, they did this movie called My Friend Dahmer, and here's my review for that. Now, My Friend Dahmer, which is a biographical psychological drama, and believe it or not, it's based on a graphic novel of the same name by cartoonist John Backdurf, who, believe it or not, was actually friends with Jeffrey Dahmer in high school in the 1970s until the time Dahmer began his killing spree in 78. So yeah, this is pretty much like based on a graphic novel that was written by one of Jeffrey Dahmer's friends, which I think is something crazy there. And the movie is directed by Mark Mayers, who's directed movies such as How He Fell in Love. He also let me pull up some of his. He's done some other decent stuff as well. Uh, but that aside, now Ross Lynch, of course, plays the role of Jeffrey Dahmer. But you know what? Evan Pierce did a good job here. But man, Ross Lynch as Jeffrey Dahmer was terrific casting. Of course, he does play the younger version, and this of course takes place like before the killing spree happened. Really show who Jeffrey like his relationship with his parents. Here his parents is actually played. You actually have Dallas Roberts who plays the role of Jeffrey Dahmer's father, Lionel Dahmer. And you also have the late Anne Hayes, who plays the role of Jeffrey Dahmer's mother. And I thought Anne Hayes should have gotten some award recognition. I thought she should have gotten maybe a Spirit Award nomination or something. Because I thought she was terrific as the role of the mother of Joyce Dahmer. You of course have Alex Wolff, who actually plays Backdurf, and John Alex Wolff I thought was great here. You also had Miles. You had Miles Robbins, from the recent Halloween film, was also in this. Dave Sabario actually portrays the role of Stephen Hicks, who of course will later go on to be Jeffrey Dahmer's first victim. And this, of course, takes place before the killing spree, so there's not really any. Unlike the recent Jeffrey Dahmer series we had, there's literally barely any killing in this. Like, they're all actually harmful animals and stuff like that, but this takes place before Jeffrey Dahmer's killing spree of you know, when he was like they do have the person of Stephen Hicks, but obviously it was like a bit of a spoiler by the way. It was where like of course Stephen Hicks was like going to a concert, and of course Jeff and he was acting his direction. And then of course Jeffrey Dahmer got in the car with him, and that really ended the film. So it didn't really like show any of that. It did of course show like him mocking people with disability, which I think is, man, I don't know what's worse, like him killing people or him mocking people with disabilities. Like, man, that's really not cool right there. But of course, you had Vincent Kerhersher as Dr. Matthews. I mean, I thought this movie was terrific. Ross Lynch should have got some Oscar love. I mean, I thought he was terrific as Jeffrey Dahmer. He really also branched out from the Disney gig because, of course, if you guys remember, Ross Lynch was always known as like for Austin and Alley fame. Most recent, he was not Disney, but most recent he was in that Sabrina series on Netflix. But this, he really branched out perfectly. I thought he really played this part well. He did it by the younger version of Jeffrey Dahmer perfectly. Really showcased on who he was before he became a madman. And it's a really great movie. I definitely I remember I literally saw this one in theaters back in 2017. I was a tree of how great Ross Lynch was in this. It's a terrific film. Uh, I'm not saying he should have gotten an Oscar nomination because this might be a little too. too small for one. But hey, if Andre Riseborough could have got a nomination for True Leslie, I think Ross Lynch could have got an Oscar nomination for this. But that aside, it is a really great film. Mark Mayer did a great job at directing. Uh, if you guys have not seen it, not sure we can find it nowadays. You can mostly find it on like Hulu. You can find it on Peacock. I think you can find it on YouTube. I could be wrong there, but that aside, give it a go. Really decent flick. Anyway, let me let you guys. Have you ever seen My Friend Dahmer? If so, what's up? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Drop comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notification. This is Senior signing out.